Jedi Rich is the best director, period. He's gonna fuck your mom and then he'll fuck her mother.
Your total is $49.93.
Us in our club and our perks, and you'll stay strong. Having fun, losing weight while we sing song. Us in our club and our perks, and you'll stay strong. Having fun, losing weight while we sing song. Eggs, take your feet. Eggs, take your feet. Eggs, take your feet. So get like me. Eggs, take your feet. Eggs, take your feet. Eggs, take your feet. So get like me. And we be having fun, laughing all about at what those haters say. They use us for clout. We just got this channel, don't mean no disrespect. We got some subscribers, we just helped us then. We act with love, we don't ever hate. If you a hater, see you later, you can't join our club. Eat our burgers dry, no lettuce, body so fine. Make the haters jealous, put on some bacon, put the flour away. Our body is made by eating this shit all day. Our food is fire, we cook them just right. 93 from Whole Foods, gonna eat some tonight. Join us in the club, in our perks, and you'll stay strong, having fun.
Oh my god, that video. Cringe. So we watched the strangest documentary today about this couple. So this is the craziest thing. We were in New York when this was all going on. But anyways, there was this couple that were like super genius nerds that stole someone's Bitcoin. That when they first stole it, it was worth like 75 million. But then they couldn't move it, because then once they moved it, they would have got caught. So it grew over like 5 years and it became like 5 billion. And I guess it was like the biggest, this documentary is called like Biggest Heist Ever or something. It's some new documentary. And these people were wacko. And we were laughing because we're like, oh gosh, that's what people think about us for sure. That we're just like wackos like that. But yeah, the girl was like doing these videos and we're just like, it's kind of like me. But so we kind of picked our like cringiest video. Because it made us laugh. But anyways, yeah, that was a very strange story. I don't know if you guys have heard this story. It happened in like, well, they got busted in like 2022, I think it was. And that's when we were in New York and we were down by Wall Street when this was going on and they raided their house or whatever. But I guess they never really, nothing happened with it where they didn't go to jail or whatever. But it's this crazy thing. But anyways, the girl was very strange. She would make these rap videos and stuff, and I'm like, oh gosh, people say about me, I'm sure. Because like you just scratch your head with us, like Healthy Family Force, so strange. Jedi Joy is so strange. You know, it really is strange. But it's fun. So that's the thing is, I used to be very square. Well, not really actually. I've always been kind of weird, but I can be very square. It's like when I'm in the military, you know, it's gonna be very proper and structured and not act weird. But that's just not as fun. But I was definitely raised by a very strange family, so I was always a little weird. But anywho, today is day 10 of no alcohol, which I'm feeling really good about. But here's the caveat. I'm probably going back to New York either at the end of this month or the very beginning of August. Because Vegas is just... So I guess this was the worst 4th of July Vegas has ever had. It's just not turning around. Which I'm kind of excited about, even though it's stressful and it's stressful on my body in this sense because I end up like drinking. But I think I'm going to drink way less this time because I didn't like how much I drank last time. Like I didn't feel good. So I'm hoping that each trip I kind of like drink less and then maybe finally I'll stop drinking. Because I don't even really like it that much. It's just like this weird thing I'm going through where it's like I just want to like like for so long I told myself, no, you're just not allowed to have it. And now it's like, okay, you can have it, Joy, but then it's like, but do you really want it? So that's kind of this journey I'm going through. It's the Jedi Joy journey. I don't just like feel like, oh, okay, I stopped this thing and now I'm better forever just because I'm avoiding it. That doesn't actually mean that you're working through the thing, you know what I mean? Because avoidance is the easiest thing, but actually having to like work through your stuff and like live a normal life and not just avoid everything that's difficult. Don't take that stuff off of my face, please. It's ridiculous. Take it off, please. Thank you. Much better. It makes my face look morphed. He thinks it looks better because I know I'm like an old lady, but then I look like this like cartoon character. No, I know I'm saying this myself. I didn't say you said that. I'm saying I'm saying that. But I look like a cartoon character. It's like doesn't look like a real person. It looks like an AI or something. But anywho, so did you guys have a good 4th of July? I fell asleep. I did. We were watching a bunch of different stuff, I think, yesterday. I can't remember what we watched yesterday. But, I don't remember what we watched. But I fell asleep, and then Richard had to go pick up Gloria and Annette, and I was asleep the whole time. So, you guys know me, I always fall asleep early. But it was actually really nice because I actually slept. Like, it was really good. But me and Rich did go check out the fireworks out in the backyard when those were all going off. And that was pretty cool. But, once you get to our ages, it's like, these things are just not as exciting each time. I'm 40, Richard's, 57 this year? And, it's just not, I don't know, as impressive each time. I'm always like, each year I'm always like, I thought these fireworks are more impressive than this. I think I'm just getting old. And so I think when I go to New York, it's good because it keeps me a little bit young, because it's like in that city there's such an energy, there's a lively energy. Otherwise, I would just become an old maid over here. So I'm excited. And I thought I was going to want it to be a longer amount of time. But I almost feel like, here's the thing, I'm not going to be going to New York forever. This is definitely only for like the next year or two at most. And then, either Vegas is going to turn around or I'll do something else. I'm not going to keep going forever to New York. But, and I can always get into real estate, which is probably what I'll get into one of these days. But right now I'm kind of like, hey, this is kind of cool. I get to go to New York City, so... Because after I stop going on these trips, I don't think I'll ever want to go back to New York unless me and Richard go to like a Mets game. But I'm not going to want to like go there as a tourist because I'm not a tourist kind of person. And I wouldn't want to move there because it's just too much. And even if I had more money, it's just a lot living in New York. I kind of like the fast-paced lifestyle for a minute and then being able to step away and have like a slow-paced lifestyle, kind of relax and get to sleep and stuff. You really don't sleep enough when you live in New York. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing. People just do not sleep enough. They just work. But anyways, so I'm excited. Sorry to go back. And Casper's doing really good. We researched about those little things. You can have like 2 a day of those little 2 or 3 a day. But I didn't give him any more yesterday, and now he's doing way better. And it actually helped him because he's actually losing some weight and jumping around and stuff. So I was worried that he was acting too crazy, but I think it was giving him some energy. And so we stopped giving him carrots, and we're giving him just those little Timothy cubes, but only 2 or 3 a day. These little tiny balls. But anywho, Casper's my buddy. Oh, and the Mets are playing very soon at 1 my time. They're playing the Yankees of Game 2 of the Subway Series, which is just the most exciting thing. That was super fun yesterday for it to be like 4th of July and have it be the Mets and Yankees and the Mets win. I was like, this really couldn't be a better 4th of July for me. Like, that was enough for me. That's all I needed. So I really hope they win again, but you just never know. They're so neck and neck. I mean, those teams are very evenly matched right now. Because that game was like, it was going back and forth, like ping pong. and I didn't know which way it was going to land, and then McNeil saved the day by getting a home run. So I'm going to be watching that at 1, so we wanted to do a live before that. But I am feeling really, really good today, like being it's day 10. And people go like, I don't understand how Joy can, drink so much and then stop. But that's always how I've been, because the way I drink, you couldn't do that long term. You would die. So like I drink too heavy. Now I'm not saying like I was only drinking ciders, but I just drink too much where I don't do anything else. Like it's like once I start drinking, I forget to eat. You know what I mean? And I just drink. I become like that Leaving Las Vegas guy, where he like wasn't even eating, and it kind of takes over me. So it doesn't take long for me to be like, okay, you have to stop drinking. So that's always how I've been. And you go, well, why don't you just not drink at all? Well, I did that for a really long time too, but I realized I was just not dealing with my issues. Because when I drink, my issues come out, because a lot of times I want to push things down. And so like I'll get angry, and it's usually misdirected, but after it all comes out, I realize, oh, okay, I was angry about this or whatever, and where I was actually getting my emotions out. So it's been therapeutic for me the last couple months, but it's not going to last forever, because I don't want to be a drinker. I actually really like being healthy. And we're back on like carnivore diet. I haven't fallen off of that the last couple of days, but I figured it's pretty hard to cut sugar and alcohol all at the same time. You know what I mean? Like usually how they'll tell you to quit alcohol is to eat like chocolate bars or something like that. And I don't do caffeine, so to like have no sugar, no alcohol, and no caffeine all at the same time is sometimes it's too much. So I decided to cave in on the sugar the last handful of days, but now I'm trying to really get back on track with my carnivore diet, because I really feel better when I am eating the organic protein. But Gloria and Annette have been doing more protein. Richard, I think, made a steak for both of them this morning, and he made my burgers. And Richard and Annette went grocery shopping this morning, which was awesome. I really like when they go grocery shopping, because you guys, seriously, like, if you don't have to go grocery shopping, or if you don't have to, buy that stuff, don't, because the more you if you're trying to avoid certain foods, or if you're trying to avoid alcohol, the more you're bombarded with it, like, the harder it is going to be, even if you think you're strong. I always think, oh, I'm strong, it doesn't matter, you can get my favorite food and put it right in front of me. But it's much harder than if it's not right in front of you. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, you can avoid it and you can have the self-control, or you can just not have it right there. So what we've done the last 10 days is had no alcohol in the house, because it might suck for Gloria a little bit, but she's cool about it. She doesn't drink that much, and she understands that I have an alcohol issue. So that has really helped me, because there were moments that if there was alcohol in the house, I probably would have caved in. But when you don't have it here, and so Richard's been doing all the shopping, so I'm not even tempted to I'm sure I could shop without being tempted, but why? So if you have the luxury, if you're first getting off of alcohol, and someone else can do your shopping, but you don't want to let someone do your shopping if you are a true alcoholic and not really trying to get off of it. Where I am, I told Rich, you got to do my shopping, because I want to be off this. So literally right now, there's no access to alcohol for me, and I don't ever go anywhere, on my own. And it's, sometimes when you ask people to help you, then you can start to feel like you're being babysat, but it's sometimes necessary when you're at the beginning of coming off of an addiction. But the original ask someone to help you, make sure I don't, and then they're watching you, like I'll do that with Rich, and then stop watching me, but that's what you wanted them there for, so it's accountability. But with me and Rich, we're always kind of when we're healthy, we're very serious about it, and we take it very seriously, and we both like commit to it, and so then it's not really like much of a question, you know, like whether we're gonna be able to do it. But the times that I'm choosing to make other choices, then it can get really bad. Like, so it's just like I have like two extremes, you know what I mean? Like if I'm choosing I'm gonna drink and go crazy, it can get really nutty. But then there's times that I'm like so rigid about being healthy. So we honestly thought we would never be unhealthy again when we were healthy in like 2000. We started really getting healthy in like 2017. And then up until 2022, we did not think that we would ever be unhealthy. And we were kind of like frowning upon people and kind of judging people a bit. And we kind of thought we were, you know, a little bit better than everybody because we had pretty phenomenal, like, elite bodies because we were, you know, only eating protein. But we were a little too thin, to be honest. But we were kind of like, oh, look at those people. And then we kind of got slapped in the face because we went back to our food addiction and then, like, got fat fast. Like, Richard got fat fast. I didn't get fat, but we looked pretty bad pretty quick. And it was a good wake-up call to, like, never, you know, judge others or, you know, kind of think you're better than someone else because you can fall off, you know, and a lot of people can do a health thing for a certain amount of time and then they often fall off because I don't think anyone truly wants to be just insanely healthy for their whole life because then it's like, I think there was a George Carlin maybe joke even about this. It's like, what are you going to die from, like, if you're that healthy? I mean, like what do you want to live forever? I mean, it's like the thing is, he's like, I'd rather just, you know, get rid of my last bad years, you know, entirely get rid of those ones. Whereas, yeah, because it's like, do you want to just be like this elite fitness forever and never have any fun of any sort where you're like, I will never have a gram of sugar? Or do you want to have like variety in your life? But then if you go too far the other way, like when I'm in New York, I actually get very, I start to not look good and I feel unhealthy because I'm drinking more than being healthy, you know, so you got to have the balance. And I kind of feel like New York is kind of my time to, like, I guess go a little buck wild, have some cocktails. I don't even drink cocktails, I do ciders. But I'm hoping that kind of stops because it's not really necessary, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't really do me any good. Like, it's not like, I don't feel like so much benefit from it. I feel more a detriment from it. So I think it's kind of a growing up thing, you know? I mean, I'm now 40, and so when you're young, you want to live it up and, you know, and I don't know, feel like you can do whatever you want. But then when you get older, you realize, yeah, I can do whatever I want, but when I choose to do whatever I want, those things have consequences. And those consequences sometimes suck. That are just natural ones, like where you just don't feel good or something. So that's why people are always like thinking that I'm doing all these drugs. I'm like, I really don't have the energy to, and I'm too small too. Like, it's just, I don't do well with things, like they affect me a lot. And so I really cannot, like, I can barely do any sugar and I go crazy, you know what I mean? And so caffeine, I'd be like bounced off the ceilings. I haven't had caffeine since March 2018, except for in the form of maybe chocolate, like if it came through chocolate. But I don't eat that much chocolate, but if I ever got it that way, maybe. But other than that, I haven't had any caffeine. And so I'd probably go crazy now if I had caffeine. But it doesn't take much for me to be effective, I think. So I have such a low tolerance. Even with the weed, it seems like I smoke a lot, but that's because I don't get it right. Like I have a hard time like trying to inhale the weed. So I think like I have to do it often to try to just get a little bit of it because I don't really know how to smoke weed. It's ridiculous. I've been smoking weed since like 2016 and I still don't do it right. I don't know. I never smoked a cigarette, so I just don't really know how to smoke things. And it's ridiculous. So the only way I can kind of do it is with the bong, because it kind of like blasts me and I'm like coughing. I'm like, I kind of get stoned. But like a pipe and a joint just don't work right for me because I don't really know what I'm doing. I was just like inhale. I'm like, I don't really know how to do that. It's weird. So, anyways, we do have good weed right now, though. We got this tangerine skunk I was talking about yesterday. Anything that's got like tangerine or citrus, those ones are like my favorite. There used to be this one called La Orange. Oof, that one. I don't know if they have it anymore. It used to be by Cannabiotics here in Vegas. Cannabiotics used to be a grower that was really good. Like theirs were amazing. We used to get some really good ones from them. I forget even the strains now. Gosh, I can't even remember now. It's been so long. This is back in like 2016. And then all of a sudden they just went downhill. I think when the water issue here, a lot of the Nevada weeds took a hit because weed needs a lot of water. And when they, really had that, where they were cutting back and no one could use any water, I think that really hurt a lot of the weed growers here. So a lot of the weed is so dry here. You go other places, it's a lot, more dense, and it's just not. I hate when it's really flaky and dry. I don't like weed like that. I like when it's kind of got like some moisture to it, and some density to it, and when it kind of like sticks together. I hate when you grind it and it's all just like all separate. I like when you grind it, it kind of like is like airy and fluffy. So I'm like this big weed connoisseur, but I know immediately after smelling a weed if I'm gonna like it or not. And like anything with like a citrusy, I love those ones. Like the lemons, I really like. That's one I really used to like. Was called Lemon Jack. It was like Jack Hare and like lemon something. But yeah, that was one of my favorites for a long time. But I do not smoke weed when I'm in New York, and that's part of my issue because I really do need weed. But I feel like I don't need weed because I always don't want weed. I'm like, weed. Even when I first get back from New York, I'm like, I hate weed. I don't want weed. And it's just like, you need weed. I'm like, I don't want weed. It's like, so if people think like weed is like that addictive, you only like weed if like you don't have other vices really, because as soon as you have another vice, like you forget about weed. Like weed is like something that's like a chill thing when you don't really have any, like it's like, that's what's beautiful about weed is it's like, it's for like people that want to chill. But when you have anything else, if you have alcohol, or that's why alcoholics never like weed. They're like, I don't like weed. Yeah, you don't, you got alcohol. But like weed is such a chill thing that if you are looking for like a high in a sense, weed doesn't give you that people think. Like I know, oh, you get stoned. Yeah, that's not the same as like the euphoria you feel with alcohol or maybe with some other drug. Like I've done cocaine. Weed is nothing like cocaine. Weed is just like, if anything, sometimes it's like horrible because it's like, it makes you think about stuff that you don't really want to think about, and you're like, oh man, because weed actually makes you think. People think weed makes you stupid. No, it actually makes you think a lot. Sometimes you're not thinking about, something you just did 2 seconds ago, but you're thinking about like real world stuff. Where alcohol, you're just intoxicating yourself. So yeah, weed, you might fall asleep, but when you wake up, you're going to still be thinking about stuff. Like you're like, oh wow, where alcohol, you can't even remember anything that happened from the night before, most of the time. So it's just a very different trip in a sense, and I really appreciate weed for what it has done for me and Rich, because we always kind of like were like those people like, weed, weed's so lame kind of thing. And then when we went to Aspen, actually, July 4th, 2016, we tried their legal weed there because it wasn't recreationally legal yet in Vegas, only medically. And we didn't have medical cards because we weren't doing weed. So we had taken a trip to Aspen because that's where Richard had worked at the Little Nell in like 2003. So he wanted to show me Aspen.
Hey, Mark Fusion's here this morning.
Hey, Mark Fusion. We love Mark Fusion. How's it going, Mark? You're the best. We love all your content. You're hilarious.
Keeping us up to date.
Yeah, Mark's awesome. Yeah. Rich is always checking out your vids because you'll give like an overview of stuff. It's perfect. But anywho, and hey, Beth Down, if you're out there, and everybody else. Hey, Jared. Hey, who's in the room today? I don't even know who's here today. So we went to Aspen, and we tried just actually chocolates and mints that were, the edibles. And I remember the ladies telling us, she's like, is this like your first time? We're like, yeah. She's like, oh man, this will be your best experience ever and it'll never be like that again. And I'm like, why would you say that? But she said, it's so true. Because your first time, you laugh your ass off. We were taking the gondola because it wasn't snow. It was like during summer, the 4th of July. So you just go up there to go hike. We thought we'd go on a hike and I'm like laughing the entire time on this gondola just about nothing. And then we get up there, we're like, do you want to go on a hike? And we're just like, no. So we're like, we just sat on our bums, and then we took the gondola back down. We're like, we just makes you realize, like, you might not want to do the things you thought you were going to want to do.
Mark says he doesn't mind it when streamers wear the same outfits every day. It reminds him of the old days when characters on TV would always wear the same clothes so that you knew who they were. I
know, I was thinking about that. I was thinking that for a while, remember, I was only wearing those flannel pajamas. But that's because it was cold. But now I know the thing is, as soon as I get off of camera, I'm back to the same exact outfit. I'll be in like that black shirt and the Jack Skeleton. I like what's comfortable. So once I find the most comfortable thing in the house, and also I clean all day. So I don't want something that's going to get stained. So like that black shirt, it doesn't really get stained. It's like a mesh. It's a material that it's for sports. So it cleans off everything. And then the black shorts, you don't see any stains on it. And I wash them every day. I just did the laundry. So everything's clean. I tell you what, my black shirt is actually hanging. I don't even put that one in the dryer. It's hanging to dry, and my Jack Skeleton shorts just got cleaned. So we'll be getting on later. But what is my music selection going on here? I don't know. This is supposed to be my liked music. Who went through my liked music? Good God. Anyway, I know it's me. I'm just kidding. Sometimes I'll like songs all of a sudden, and I'm like, why did I like that? I don't even know. Later I'll be like, oh, I'm regretting that. But these are one of those moments. But anyway, so that couple though, you guys gotta check that out. Their name is Heather Morgan, but her like rap name is, I forgot. But the weirdest. Okay, you guys think I'm weird? You think my dancing and singing is weird? This made me realize I am weird, but not that weird. Hey! Guess what song just came on? No joke. Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman. Walking down the street. That was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. Telly. Yeah, I really liked Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. And I married Richard. Yeah, I really liked that. And when I was a kid, we went to Hollywood, and I was like, Dad, where are all the hookers? So I asked him. We were driving around. He's like, I don't know. They're not out right now, I guess. Because I wanted it to be like that movie. Funny, right? Yes. I must have had a fascination with it. But anyways, my mom really loved Julia Roberts. Because my mom had red hair. And Julia Roberts has red hair. But my mom had more like bright red hair.
How long were you fascinated with it? I mean, like, when did you realize that was like something people did? Because I was like...
Pretty young, because I watched that movie, I think the first time when I was like, probably like 6. So, yeah. I mean, I started seeing pretty adult things at a very young age. So, yeah. Like I said, I wasn't really like a child. So, I don't know, I don't know, my parents were weird.
I think your gen's a little different.
Yeah, it's just a different gen. I was born in the 80s, different time. Yeah, so it was just different. So we were just exposed to a lot of stuff, very young. Like, you just saw things. I mean, like, the movies were very graphic. We were just watching, even the American Apparel thing. I mean, even the ads, during my gen were much more explicit, than they're allowed to be now. And, the sex scenes were very, what was that one well, I think it was, wasn't it it was the Leaving Las Vegas. Pretty graphic, like kind of like sex scene where it didn't turn into sex, but it was like with her boobs and stuff, like, she showed her boobs and like, her and Nicholas were shooting. But like, they showed, I remember they were always showing women's breasts and a lot of nudity in movies and stuff when I was a kid. And I think they don't show that nearly as much anymore. But there's so much porn access now. So, but you have to be a certain age, I would think, before the kids start getting into the porn. Who knows what age they first see that these days. It's like, that wasn't accessible. Although the magazines existed. So my step-grandpa owned a Chevron, and the magazines existed. They were like, we would go in the magazines, and they were just up at the top, and they had a black thing on them, all the, like, nudie magazines, But we were sometimes, grabbing them. But we were reading, like, the Archie comics and stuff. So, anyway, 80s were a different time. I like the 80s. I was only around for 5 years of the 80s, but I do remember it. And then the early 90s I really liked. Like, I really liked when I was a kid. Like, I thought times were cool. Like, it was just like, I don't know, everything was kind of, like, chill and cool. And people were very real. Because there wasn't so much like this plastic surgery thing and so much makeup and stuff, or fake hair and stuff. Everyone was natural, so that's kind of why I'm more that way. I'm kind of stuck in that gen that you were just supposed to be natural.
Loves your voice.
Oh, thank you. My voice is a work in progress always because I messed it up quite a bit from eating disorder for many years. But I have my moments where, it's better and worse. So I think the healthier I am, the better my voice is. But when I'm being unhealthy, like drinking, I notice my voice gets bad. And I had a client even comment about it recently, like when I was still drinking, was like, your voice. Because I hadn't heard that in years. Because people used to always complain about my voice before I got healthy. Prior to like 2015, I got so many complaints about my voice because I barely had a voice. It was like almost non-existent. So they'd be like, something's wrong with her voice. It's like laryngitis or something. It was embarrassing. But I hadn't had that comment in a long time until like the alcohol, I think, really just like is not good.
How did you feel?
Oh, it's embarrassing. Oh my gosh.
Like, did it flash you back to the days like when you were on the phone? Remember you always on the phone?
Yeah, it's so embarrassing. It's like, because you're not sick, but you are kind of in a sense, but it's not a sickness of like something that someone's going to catch, it's not a flu. It's, you have destroyed your vocal cords, so it's very embarrassing, yeah. And a lot of women are experiencing that now. Like, it's getting so common to just hear this hoarse voice. A hoarse voice is not normal. A hoarse voice means you destroyed your vocal cords. And the best way to destroy your vocal cords is through an eating disorder. Not through singing, not things like that, unless you got punched in the neck, maybe. But singing actually strengthens your vocal cords. So when you hear these singers complain that they lost their voice, that's because they're also vomiting or partying too much. Yeah, partying can do it too because you're just straining yourself so much. Like if they're doing too many drugs and they're not sleeping or eating, and then they're literally just so dehydrated that puts strain on your voice too. But they usually kind of all go all together. Like a lot of the stars do all of the above. Like they drink, they have eating disorders, and they do drugs. And so the triple whammy of that, a lot of the stars, a lot of them have already had like I know like Miley Cyrus has already had like throat surgery and stuff. Like a couple of them have already had things. I think Justin's kind of lost his voice. They were saying, I don't think he can sing anymore. And I mean, he's a wreck. I think he's on like ketamine or something. I don't even know. It's kind of sad. Everyone's trying to jump on the Justin train, and I really care for Justin. I've always really liked Justin Bieber. Like right away when me and Rich got together, I said our song was that one, "As Long as You Love Me," and he's like, "I don't like this song. It's saying if like we're homeless and stuff. Why would you say?" He literally commented on the homeless part, and then skip forward.
What the hell, man? I don't want to be homeless.
Yeah, because the song says, you know, even if we're homeless, you know. And that was my first song to Richard, and he didn't like it because of that homeless comment, and it was funny. So then years later, he's like, I knew it. And so I've always cared for Justin, like, in a way where, like, I could see he was, you know, hurting. You know what I mean? Where everyone else was just, like, trying to, like, latch on to this kid. And I always kind of could see, like, because we used to watch a lot of Ellen. Richard loves Ellen. And Justin was on there, like, a million times after that Purpose tour. And he's been on Ellen a million times. He's probably been on Ellen more than, like, any other show. And
Amanda said hi from yesterday. She texted us.
oh, Amanda Panda. I was going to say hi to Amanda Panda, but I was like, I didn't know she was in the room. Hi, Amanda Panda. Oh, we miss you. Oh, okay, whatever. Hi, Amanda. And yeah, and I don't know, my heart's always kind of gotten out for him because I could see, you know, he also, you know, he was a poor kid, you know, with like a single mom, and I, you know, kind of experienced that a bit, and I could just see that like they were pushing him too much. Like we were always, because you know what happened is we were in Panama, and Justin came to Panama. When we were in Panama in 2012 to 2013, he went there and like they couldn't get him to come back. Like he, no, but they loved him in Panama. Like the whole time we were in Panama, they were talking about that Justin was coming. Yeah, that he was coming for a show. Well, then Justin, he didn't want to leave Panama. And so like they had to get, you know, Scooter Braun had to go over there and like, you know, and his mom, they had to get him out of Panama. He didn't want to leave Panama. And then they drug him back to America basically, and then they kind of, you know, made him like a zombie to do the, you know, the rest of his stuff. But he didn't even want to leave Panama. And we were like, we just felt this connection because we're like, oh my God. And they were going nuts for Justin Bieber. Like that's all we heard about for until he arrived. I don't remember when he arrived, but like from the time we got there till Justin arrived, every ad was about Justin Bieber. And they always played that Beauty and a Beat, like every other song that was like Beauty and a Beat with Nicki Minaj and Justin Bieber. They played that all the time on every Panama station. Like it's like Latin songs and then Justin Bieber. And so it was all like Spanish music and then be Justin Bieber. And they were nuts about Justin Bieber in Panama. I mean, nuts about it. They just thought he was the cat's meow. And he had the best time there, and he started dating some girl there or something like that, and then they just ripped him back, and then at that point, I think they put him back with Selena. This was like pre-Haley even. And then, yeah, we just knew the kid just wanted to party, you know what I mean? He didn't want to, and we were watching this thing recently that, like, he hid his passport as, like, when he was a young artist, because like he was so tired of touring and stuff, like they just weren't getting the signs that he was just tired and exhausted. They were just running that kid wild. I mean, he did like 100 shows his first year or something like that. It was like over 100 shows or something. It was just like, it was insane. Like they kept working him and working him and working him, and he just got exhausted, and he never felt appreciated. And now everyone just judging him like Justin's nuts or whatever. He was always nuts. Like they just were like trying to like. He was always a nutty kid. But then they pushed him too far. But most of these stars are a little bit nutty. That's what makes them stars. You know what I mean? They're a little bit different than other people. A little bit like on the edge between normal and insane. That's what kind of makes them like these phenomenal artists. But if you push them, they go over the edge like Britney Spears or Justin Bieber, you know what I mean? And it's not the drugs. They were already going to be that way, and then they did drugs on top of it. Because drugs can't make someone crazy. They can just bring out their craziness.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Does that make sense? Like if you're insane, drugs can't do anything to you.
Right,
really.
because it's like, why is it that
Yeah. But if you're already crazy, it just brings out your crazy. And people that are crazy and are like kind of repressing it are attracted to drugs. because they want to express themselves and they can't. So people always think that drugs make people crazy, or that everyone that's crazy is doing drugs. No, it's that crazy people do drugs. And normal people do drugs, and those are the ones you don't hear about because they don't get in trouble. But the crazy people are the ones that get arrested because they take it too far, like me. And I am nutty. I don't mind. I'm always confused when people don't acknowledge that they're weird or crazy or whatever. I was like, you think you're normal? Like, I'm like totally okay saying I'm not normal. Like, I don't want to be normal. Normal is boring. But I'm like, I'm very okay with saying that I'm crazy, that I'm wacky, that I got issues, that I'm not perfect, that I'm dealing with things. Other people like don't want to even see a counselor. I'm like, I've seen so many counselors. I don't want to now because I don't want to pay for that, and I don't want to go drive all the way to the VA and deal with that. But if they came to my house, I'd talk to a counselor. They sat on my bed. I'm not like opposed to talking to a counselor. I'm just not gonna deal with the nonsense of it. But yeah, I've been to many counselors since the time I was like 5 years old, because when my mom was a little wacky and then my dad left. Yeah, my mom got really depressed when I was 5, and so we started seeing a counselor during that time. This lady had no eyebrows, Claudia. Wacko. It's like counselors are crazier than their patients. This lady this is back in, I was 5, so 1990. She would shave off her eyebrows, and then she would paint on these huge eyebrows, which I guess the girls do now, but it was very weird back then. Not many people did that back then. And she was a strange bird. She had like big, white, puffy hair. Oh dear, Claudia. Anyways, my mom thought she was like my mom's savior because she got my mom out of depression. Only to go back in 15 years later, but anyways. Yeah, so I started seeing counselors when I was very young. And then I've seen many eating disorder counselors. I got sent to one in high school. Julie. She was very nice. The counselor's always very nice. I don't know why people don't like it. They just sit there and listen to you. And they actually are usually always on your side. Like, your family's always like, it's your fault, it's your fault. You talk to a counselor, they're like, oh no, it's not your fault. Because your dad's an asshole. You're like, oh really? Well, thank you for saying that. They actually, what she's done here is actually very helpful. Unless you're the asshole, but no one's just the asshole. There's always reason. People are only assholes because they've had assholes at them. And no one's just mean by nature. Like, babies don't just come out mean. Like,
people don't.
Happens, so. Just blame an individual person.
Never mind.
You gotta look all around them.
I'm ready for breakfast.
But definitely the first place to look when someone's a child is the parents. So when parents want to blame their children for being like derelicts and, hoodlums and, drug addicts or whatever, I want to look in the mirror, what I mean? Because that's definitely, parents have a huge influence on children. But everybody's a drug addict in some way or another, because whether it be sugar, caffeine, something from your doctor, or a street drug, someone's on something. And we were saying for a while that we weren't on anything, but people consider weed a drug. So in that sense, okay, because we were saying we were only doing beef and water, but then people are like, well, weed's a drug. I consider flour, but I can see where you're coming from, so yeah, there you go. But now I've done alcohol, which I consider a drug, and sugar, so can't be holier than thou anymore. But I'm liking actually coming back to kind of like reality of like how everybody lives again, because I was living like this weird reality. Me and Rich were like on this weird trip of like only eating beef and water if we did that for quite a while. And not so much since we've been blogging, because we've been kind of been on and off. But this is like before we went to New York, and then like the first 6 months in New York, we were insane about it. I mean, we wouldn't have anything. I remember we were flying, and this was actually flying to Panama, and it was a really long flight, and Richard was freaking out because he wanted to get like a burger at the airport because we got so hungry. And because we normally never did anything like that, but he's like, I'm gonna get one, but then they put like a tiny bit of sauce, and he was like freaking out that there was like a tiny bit of sauce on this thing. And I remember we were just like insane about stuff like that. Like it was, we were crazy about it. So we've really calmed down and not like really, okay, life's too short to be that insane about your diet. Like yeah, you can get like have no fat on your body and be super elite fit or whatever, but is that really that cool either? Because it actually makes you look really old when we were doing it. So I do like to have a fit body, but I don't like to be a nutcase about it. So that's why I kind of like having this contrast of going back and forth, because otherwise I do get nutty about it, where I'm like, I'm only gonna do my beef. Because I'm either like rigid or I'm not rigid. I have a hard time finding a in between. So it's kind of like when I go to New York, I'm not rigid, and then when I come home, I'm rigid, and that's kind of how I find my in-between. Mixture of the both. Since I'm not really good at kind of doing things in moderation. I'm either good at like restricting or going a little overboard with things. So that's what I'm trying to manage, get better at that, because I don't like that I'm that way. I don't find pride in that. It's not like a thing to be proud of. But it is challenging, because it's not a gluttonous thing. It's not a greed thing. It's a more a psychological thing. Like something is wrong in my brain, like when I do something like sugar or alcohol where I want to go too far. And I don't know where my stop is, you know? And I think that's where I'm kind of challenging myself with these trips is like, yeah, I could just avoid it, but I've actually gotten better at like realizing like, okay, to slow down. And then I think once I slow down, I won't be so fascinated by it. Does that make sense? Like part of the pull of wanting to do an addiction is because you don't understand why you did it in the first place. Like you keep being drawn to like, why was I so addicted to this thing? You know what I mean? And so until you kind of go through that, you're either going to just think about it in the back of your mind all the time, and it's still going to be there, and it's going to haunt you because you're going to feel like, why can't I have a drink like a normal person and not go nuts doing that? You know, like there's alcoholics say things like that. But it'll just haunt you forever. When I thought it was something that I just couldn't. But you know what? Like, it is a total psychological issue. So it's not a like physical issue. It's a certain people, when they allow whatever their addiction may be, maybe it's food, maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's a drug, they allow themselves to like let loose during that time. And so that's what is like attracted to me about the alcohol, but then I go, why do I need to like let loose and like not care? Because that's not like me. I like to care. So it's kind of that like rejection of what you're supposed to do. So you go like, why am I being like rebellious kind of things? You know what I mean? So you evaluate these things and it teaches you a lot about yourself. You know what I mean? And you go like, okay, so I'm using this as a way to like be obstinate in a sense, you know what I mean? Like, and then you go, well, why am I doing that? You know what I mean? And then you can, like, because a lot of times that is what you're doing. Like, especially if you know the addiction is affecting a loved one, then you obviously are having some anger towards that person. So, like, I was actually having some anger towards Rich, and we actually talked through a lot of that. And now, when I drank, I didn't get angry at him. But every other time when I drank, I got angry at him. And he was thinking it was just my alcohol, but I was angry at him. And we spoke to, we discussed these things, and now I'm not angry at him anymore. So when I drank those 2 days, it was like, he's like, oh, you were like pleasant, like how you are in New York. And I'm like, yeah, because there was so there was something there. So don't just deny what happens when there's something, that occurs like with your addiction. There's a reason for it. People want to just say, oh, I was just drunk, or I was just high, or just this and that. But there's a reason you're acting that way. And the drugs try to show you that, but most drugs just intoxicate you too much. Then you're too out of it. That's where like weed, I don't consider it a drug because I consider it just a plant, but they call it a drug, so we'll call it a drug. But what's nice about weed is it enlightens you, but then it doesn't make you forget. But it makes you forget things that are not important. Does that make sense? People go, oh, people forget. Well, I mean, yeah, for things that don't really matter, that you think are so important, you're like, it's not that big a deal. But things that are like significant, like life-changing things, you don't forget. Like if you all night were like thinking about stuff and you were smoking weed, you'll fall asleep, and then the next morning you're going to be like, wow, I feel so enlightened about all those things that I learned. And so that's why weed is just very different that's why it's not really like a party kind of thing. People think of it as, I've always been like, I don't know, weed's not like the party drug to me. I always laugh when I hear that people are like, that they're like addicted to weed and that's, I'm like, I don't think that's the drug you're talking about. I think you're trying to cover up a different one, because anyone that does weed regularly realizes it's not like this like crazy addictive thing. I mean, you might like it to help calm you down, but like if you don't have it, you're okay. You're just a little more anxious. But other drugs, if you don't have them, you might be like losing your mind, and you might be physically addicted where you're actually sick. And so it's just different. And even alcohol, alcohol is physically addictive. And that I didn't like, I got very addicted to that. And so I'm really trying to hope that each trip I drink less and maybe don't drink at all. But I'm not going to set any expectations on myself, because then I get upset with myself for like letting myself down, just a stupid thing, And that's kind of the alcoholic kind of like thing, is like you set yourself up for failure and then you beat yourself up for it, So I'm doing this new thing that I've never taught, because I've done the whole AA thing and, refrain from alcohol, and we refrained from alcohol many years. I'm kind of going through this new phase of letting myself go through this journey. And, but I do feel that it's going to end, because I don't really think like I'm that into drinking alcohol. If that makes sense. Like it's just more of a something that I used to cope. And it really did get worse when my mom died. And so I think like going back to New York is helping me kind of undo all this past pain, that I had covered for many years with my eating disorders or alcohol. And when I go to New York, I have to just sit there with myself a lot too, because like I was saying, like sometimes I'm just sitting in my room. And if you're someone like me that's kind of tried to busy myself for many years, just sitting with yourself can sometimes be a lot. And so it's good for me to just sit there and just think about things and just feel, and I'll cry a lot and stuff, and yeah, just being like this open space of like any emotion can occur right now, because I'm just like in a hotel room by myself. It doesn't really matter, I could bawl, because normally I would try not to cry that much in front of like people, like, cause sometimes I do have some big crying things from like, from the pain of my mom, where it can be a lot for someone to take, like if they don't understand, because it's not that you don't have to do anything, I just have to like go through it. But it's sometimes can be shocking, like I don't like doing that to Richard and stuff, so sometimes in New York it's good, I just have a good cry, I do cry here once in a while, but not that often, And I usually, it's not that I'm even holding back, it's just other things going on. But I'll get there, I'll sometimes just have a good cry. And it's very important. People have this thing that they think you shouldn't cry, but crying is an emotion. And you should have all emotions. Just try to keep anger in check, but you still have to have it as an emotion. But you also have to work through anger. And I had a lot of anger, and I worked through it, and now I don't feel angry anymore. And so I think a lot of my drinking and my episodes when I was drinking was because I was angry. And me and Richard have talked through a lot since this last trip. And it's like, I don't know, it's just like we're getting closer and closer even though I'm going to New York. Like that's making us closer than if I just stayed here. Because every time I go there, like I'm like learning about myself and growing up, and Richard's learning about himself too here because, you know, he's here taking care of his mom and sister, which he's never really done to that capacity, you know, but prior to us living here. So it's like a good thing for them to have, you know, just the three of them sometimes too. So I think it's really good right now, but I think, you know, long term, you know, I don't want to forever be going to New York because I don't want to travel that much. I didn't be away from my family that much, but I'm thinking, you know, I'm 40. There's only going to be a couple more years of me doing this anyways, so why not appreciate this time and not like dread it and not be like, oh my gosh, I have to go back in. Instead be like, hey, I get to go back, you know. And so I don't really care if I go back at the end of the month or the beginning of August, October. It's just look at what makes the most sense. But I can already see Vegas is just not coming back like they thought it would for 2025. But New York is doing pretty well. New York is actually having their best year they've had since the pandemic. And they're having a really good year, actually. And a lot of the, you know, they had all those issues with the migrants and stuff. That's all been resolved. And the only issue they're having now is the, you know, the protests and stuff. With, but I think they're starting to get that stuff resolved more and more there. So New York is very democratic, and they do take good care of their people there. But that means they definitely hate the current president. And I'm not political, so I'm not saying my opinion on that. I don't even have an opinion on it, to be honest. But so it is very difficult right now because a lot of people are very angry about that right now in New York. But other than that, like their economy is coming back and stuff. So, and I think they just got a new mayor there, I think, or something.
You see New York coming back.
No, I already know this. I know this for a fact. Like, I've heard this for a fact from people that know that. Like, people in real estate and stuff, they're saying this is like New York is like finally coming back. That it has been bad. And they said 2023 was really bad for New York. But 2025 is going really well. And they're expecting great things for New York in 2025 and 2026. And, like the real estate's doing really well again because it was doing really bad for a minute because after the pandemic everyone got out of New York for a minute, and so real estate had plummeted. But now people are coming back and it's getting busy again, and it's just coming back, you know.
It's getting better and better.
Yeah, it's just getting better and better, you know. People are starting to do less of the, like, you know, Zoom meetings and things like that, you know, and meeting more in person again. So people are starting to travel more and stuff, you know. But one thing that's a big issue right now in New York is these new taxes on traveling through Manhattan. So that's only an issue for people with cars. So a lot of people are just getting rid of their cars. And that's what they want. They don't want cars anymore in Manhattan, barely, except for maybe like the taxis. But they want it to be primarily everybody taking public transportation. So a big push right now was to get public transportation safe. And I guess right now they're saying the subways are like the safest they've been in a really long time. And people are feeling really safe, and I feel safe when I'm there. So they're really pushing to try to make it safe for people to travel in ways other than driving. And they wanted more bicycles, you know. So they're getting rid of like a lot of the parking garages and everything and turning them into buildings. So like there's just no place to park. And then they've turned a lot of the street parking into the places for the restaurants. That started with the pandemic, where they have their little seating outside. And they have made it so difficult to travel through the city. You get taxed going through different parts of Manhattan. There's different like. Oh, hey, Amanda Panda. How are ya? Hello. We miss you. You should come over one of these days. We miss you around here. Gloria and I would love to see you. Oh, we would too.
Gloria loves Amanda.
I know she loves Amanda.
Gloria adores
She loves Amanda. Everybody loves Amanda.
I mean-
Amanda's a sweetheart.
She is just like,
Yeah, Gloria's always like, oh, Amanda.
man.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's a compliment because Gloria doesn't really like that many people. Like, that's actually, like, neither of them do, actually. They're actually pretty picky with who they like. So it's a compliment for Gloria and Annette to like you. They are actually very picky. They won't like certain people. It's funny. But they love Amanda. Yeah, we miss Amanda. Yeah, it's so crazy. It's been like, what, over a year now? Well, I was just thinking about that. So I went to New York July 27th through August 8th of 2023. But then I didn't go 2024 because we were doing the channel. So it might make sense for me to go around the same dates. I don't know. We're going to look into it. But yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't. Because I was like, I didn't go 2012. Oh, yeah, that's what we were doing the channel this summer. So then I didn't go till November. Yeah, November. Yeah, I didn't go till November. But anywho, the problem is when you go this time of year, a lot of people are in the Hamptons. So sometimes, like my particular clients will be out of town and stuff because they go to the Hamptons. Because it's so humid in New York, you don't want to be in the city in July and August. But New York is so up and down with the weather that even when it's humid, then it'll be not so humid a couple days later. It's just like a couple days of humidity and then it'll be all right again, you know. But man, sometimes those couple days of humidity are like torturous, but then it just never lasts that long. The weather changes a lot in New York, which is nice if you have crappy weather, but which sucks if you have good weather because the good weather is short-lived too. Like on nice days, people are like coming out of the woodworks. And like it's so busy out on a nice day in Manhattan. Like the parks are just so many people, and like everywhere you walk is just like cluttered with people because they're like, oh, soaking up the sun, because they are rare sometimes, depending on like how many days it's been cold, you know. But I do enjoy the cold there because it's always so warm here, you know. I mean, it does get chilly here, but not like New York chilly. But it's nice going there and having been a little chilly sometimes. But yeah, last time when I was there, it was chilly when I first got there, and then it got like really hot. So I had like both extremes. But it was actually really chilly when I first got there, which was weird. It was like raining a lot and stuff, and actually pretty chilly. I almost wanted my scarf. I was like, who told me not to bring my scarf? But then it got really hot, and then I was like, oh. And then I only had that jacket that I was like, I don't really like to wear my like skimpy dresses around the city. I'm not really like a flashy person, even though it seems like that at times, but I really am not. Like I'll do it for a show, you know, but then in my private life, I try to dress down. I don't really like a lot of attention, but I'll be like, I'm an entertainer, so like, you know, I'll put on a show, I'll put on a crazy outfit, you know, and then after that, I kind of like to dress down. So like when I go to work, you know, I'll put up a show, but then after work, when I'm walking back, because sometimes I'll just walk back if it's close enough, or I'll subway back. Because my clients could Uber me back. They always make them Uber me there. But sometimes I'll be like, you know what, I'm just going to jump on the subway. Because I just kind of enjoy it sometimes. But if I have to take off my jacket, I hate it. Because now I'm like this little skimpy dress in the subway, and I'm like, oh no, this is bad. Because the subway gets so hot. And that was awkward. That I didn't like. I was like, because I wasn't planning that. I was thinking that it would be like, that I'd need my jacket and be all right. And I go down there and I'm like, oh dear, it's so hot. It's so hot down here. I can't keep this jacket on. But it's so awkward. Yeah, I'm not a very showy person. It's funny. Even though like it seems like it when you see like my music videos of those are just for fun. But I don't know. I just get into character and have fun with it. But then I'm actually kind of a very reserved person, weirdly, and I'm very antisocial. But anywho, we got a Mets game coming up at 1. So anybody who's not into baseball is going to become a baseball fan after listening to me all the time. Because seriously, I was not into baseball either. And now that I watch it, I'm like, there's no greater sport. I mean, I really like soccer too, but man, it's about baseball. It is just phenomenal. And the guys are like ballerinas out there, but then these huge ballerinas do these phenomenal things. It's insane. It's crazy. Sometimes some of the things those guys are doing. It's a very beautiful sport. And when you get so into it, when you're down to like, you know, the last pitch and, you know, and you just, oh man, it's something, you know, just, or your team gets a home run, you know, just the things that happen, you don't realize how significant those things are until like you're watching the game. Hold on a second. Hold on, I gotta, it's just, do not disturb. Hold on, you guys. Hold on. Okay, did everybody make it? Are we still here? Sorry, but my phone was ringing. I didn't want it to mess up our thing, so I had to put do not disturb. But anyways, what was I saying? You see, I put too much blush on. If you guys are wondering, I decided to put some blush, and I put too much, and I said, screw it. Everyone just laugh at me. I never put on blush. This is why. But anyways, I don't even know what I was talking about. Well, who cares? It wasn't important. So moving on. But yeah, Mets. Those guys, it is just, so when it's a game that it's your team or something, or even if you bet on, but more if it's your team, because betting just is not the same. Money doesn't have the same level of like when it's your team, because I don't care about the bets. I'm like such a Mets fan now. And I've always been, I just didn't feel like watching the games, you know, but my family were like, made me a Mets fan. But anyways, when you're watching it and it just comes down to that, it's just like the intensity is insane, and there's no really sport that's that level of intensity because the other sports are moving. So like with basketball and even soccer and even football, you know, it comes down, you know, to the last 2 minutes or whatever, but it's a constantly moving thing. Where this is a really intense like thing where you're all standing there, you know, and you got the pitcher and he's just waiting to pitch, and the batter's getting ready to bat, and it's just down to like what's going to happen, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of this suspense, you know, and then it gets down to last pitch and then he fouls it off. Okay, now we're down next last pitch, fouls it off, and then it's just this intensity grows, you know what I mean? Is he going to strike him out, or is the guy going to get like a home run and ruin the game, you know, or whatever, you know? And that level of like where you have to wait, and then it can just happen like time after time where it can be, I mean, they can foul off for like ever too. If you guys don't understand what that means, it's, you know, there's 3 strikeouts, but if they keep fouling off the ball, then it can be a bazillion, you know, before the guy strikes out, you know, before he finally misses one. He can keep fouling off the balls. So it can just, the intensity, and the pitcher's getting tired as he's pitched like 15 pitches to one guy, you know. And it's, I don't know, it's hard to describe if it's not your team, and if you haven't like just had that level of like excitement and you're watching like pitch after pitch, oh darn it, you know. And so yesterday was a good one. He didn't have to do too many Reed Garrett, but I was like, oh, this could be, and he got it done. So it's just intense, and they're phenomenal athletes, and they work really hard because they play so many games too. And the pitchers like throw out their shoulder every pitch. Jesus, I mean, they're torturing themselves. And just the level of pain they get. I mean, I'm sure those like slides don't feel good and things, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I get used to it, but like, I mean, this guy's, and then they get hit with the ball and stuff. Oh God, a 100-mile ball at your wrist or at your ankle or something. And they get really injured. So, I mean, I'm really appreciating the sport, and I love it. And I love that it's on almost every day, because then I'm like, oh, this is my new favorite hobby. And I don't need to bet, so it doesn't even have to cost anything, except we have to get the MLB app, but whatever that costs. We already have it, so you pay for the month. That's how it all started, because we paid for a month. You guys remember that? I wanted to watch one Mets game. I wanted to bet on a Mets game. I told Rich I want to bet on a Mets game. Because I think it was like something, it was some significant thing. I said, I want to bet on a Mets game today. And we realized in order to watch the game, we had to buy for the whole month the MLB app. So I was like, okay, let's start watching some Mets games. And that's kind of how it started. And now I'm like just obsessed with watching the games. And my family watched them my whole life, but I was a kid. So like I got the concept of baseball, but unless you really like appreciate the sport, it's not that interesting because you're just watching someone hit some balls and run around some bases. But when you really appreciate the players, and when you learn all the players, and you learn the managers and stuff, and you start to learn even the other teams I was thinking like you needed to kind of like learn about the other teams, but with baseball they play all the other teams so often that like, well, probably not certain teams, but whatever ones are in your rotation, you start to learn all the other players on the other teams too, which is cool too. So then they come like, oh, I remember that guy. Oh gosh, that guy that gets the home runs. Watch out for him. So it's kind of cool because they play so often that you see. Like I remember we weren't watching very long, and like teams were already rotating through again. Because like some of the teams they'll play several times. And you're like, oh yeah, I remember those guys. So like you can right away feel like you kind of know what's going on too. Where some sports, it takes a while for you to kind of get in the loop. Where baseball, you can pretty quickly feel like you kind of know what's going on. So I really appreciate that about it. Because like we're already like pretty aware of most of the teams. I don't know which teams they haven't played because this is my first year of like really watching to this level. But they've played quite a few teams. And so.
Someone named Scar Stan Strong would like to know, is this stream about baseball, and do you ever interact with the chat? And if not, why not?
This stream is about anything and everything, and you never know what you're going to get. It's a variety show.
Good one.
And I do not interact with the chat because I probably could one of these days, but early on the chat was so hateful to me. Like it was really, really bad. And so every time I interacted, I'd get mad. And then they would just, love irritating me and get me riled up. So I found it was better for me to just not see the negative comments and just talk. But now there's a lot less negative comments. So I probably could one of these days. But the problem is I get a lot of hate for my job, which I don't really get into, but you guys can figure it out yourselves. And people just attacked me really, really hard. And I just didn't feel like I wanted to absorb any of their negative energy. Like, even reading it, like, I don't really care what people say about me, but I also don't need to read it. Does that make sense? Like, I don't need to seek it out and just, like, I'm not someone that wants to know what people are saying about me if it's negative. I'd rather just not know. I'm not like, wait, what is he saying about me? I don't need to hear it. Like, I don't need, my mom always says, like, negative thoughts in is negative thoughts out. It's like whatever you put in, you're going to produce out. So, like, keep it positive. Like, read your positive comments. But unfortunately, you can't sift through them, so I have to shut them all out. But I found that the amount of hate towards me was not valid, and so I wasn't going to receive it, and all they can do is just hate and just say their nasty stuff, but it's kind of just going on deaf ears, you know what I mean? And Richard will once in a while come and let me know if there's something super significant that someone wants to know or something. And if you guys ever do have questions, you can ask him and he'll ask me. And we can do a Q&A thing, but he just reads the comments because I just don't need, I do a lot for my family.
Someone just said you have the prettiest feet, by the way.
Oh, thank you. My feet are terrible, but I appreciate you saying that. My feet are so messed up, and I've always had, I have the biggest self-consciousness about my feet because for many years I have not had a toenail hair. It's not really, it can't grow. And that made me feel really embarrassed because it happened when I was in the Air Force. A girl stepped on my toe stiletto, and the other one over here, I ran into cement step when I was drunk. But I like broke both toes. And they're now all messed up, and I got all of it, and then I broke my foot. But my feet are a mess. I've had so many foot injuries. It's bad. I cut the back of my foot in Panama. I stepped on one of those, not in Panama, Ecuador, and I stepped on one of those spikes that tires on my foot in Ecuador when I was in the Air Force. Drunken things. But, so I've had a lot of foot injuries. So my feet have always been very embarrassing to me. So I've always tried. I used to only wear shoes that would had closed toe or whatever. But then I finally forget it. And now whatever. So thank you. But anyways, my feet hurt like crazy. Like it's insane how much my feet hurt. Like it's kind of crazy that I'm able to walk with the amount of foot pain, but somehow it works together. If I keep moving, it doesn't hurt. But if I stand still, no. But if I keep moving, I'm good. So I can walk an insane amount, and I love to do that, in New York, and anywhere. But if I'm standing still, my feet it's bad. But I prefer to wear heels because my feet flat-footed, I can't walk. They're too painful. So if I lift them, for some reason, I'm able to walk. And even the foot doctor said that makes sense because of my foot injuries. It actually to have it lifted helps. But anyways, so I just don't like to receive the negativity when it's not valid, because really I have done great things, and I have some issues like we all do. And I was working through an insane amount of stuff when we first started this channel, and people are going to lash out at me forever about my actions, but you guys have no idea what I was going through with what was going on in this house. Now it's all great because of what I did, and it now seems crazy because now like how everybody is, how docile everyone is, but Gloria and Annette were nightmares when we first got here. I mean, like aggressive nightmares, violent, you know what I mean? And then, but they were destroying themselves, you know what I mean? And so it was how do you help people that are so obstinate for you to help? Everything you try to help, they're going opposite. It was putting the brakes on when you're trying to put the gas. And so but now everything seems how could you ever yell at Gloria to that? And it's even I go but it was very different then. And I would never yell at them now. But it was insane. I mean, it was coming in here and taming 2 wild stallions, and that were so out of control that they were going to kill themselves, you know what I mean? And we couldn't watch them die. They're Richard's family. And so we had to step in, and it wasn't that they didn't want us to help. It was that they didn't know how to help themselves. So the things that they thought were good for them were hurting them, you know what I mean? And so it was a little bit of a conflict of when we first had to, remove things like the caffeine and stuff, you know what I mean? I don't think they were super fond of that. They didn't, fight us about it. It was more just everyone was grumpy for a while, and things like that. But now everyone's doing better and stuff. So, and they do their tea, their decaf tea, but and they get a little caffeine when they go Annette's all wired since yesterday because she gets a little caffeine. But once in a while it's all right. But every day, the amount of caffeine she was doing, because she was doing coffee all day and those Diet Cokes all day. She was doing the caffeine ones. We get her the caffeine-free ones now. But we had to change a lot of things in this house, and the house was so bad with the mice and the bed bugs and the hoarding. And so there was just so much that had to be done. And just the amount of stress that me and Rich had to take on when we were not really stable at that point ourselves, And so people were really hating on us, and they made it much harder than it needed to be too. Calling the police and stuff, and the adult services and the animal patrol and all that, it was not helpful, and we were going through a lot, and people were just so hateful. So I just kind of stopped reading the comments very early on because they were so bad, but now they're not anymore. And I know they're not, and I might read them again. But I found that people really just want to focus on my job more than anything else too. So if I do start to like allow comments, I know what the comments are gonna start being, like where if I'm reading them, that's the other issue. So I kind of know where that's gonna go. So that's the other reason. And so I kind of just let Richard filter through them, and if something's important, he'll come tell me. But we might do like a Q&A one of these days or something. I mean, I don't mind answering questions, but certain things are just inappropriate. I've answered way more on other people's channels, which because I don't feel like comfortable talking about that stuff on my channel. I'm always like, you want me to talk about this on your channel? Okay, if you feel comfortable. But I don't think YouTube particularly wants me talking about specific things, So we try to be respectful of YouTube's guidelines, and I've messed it up a couple times. When I was in New York, I put up some stuff about eating disorder, and I forgot, because they've gotten stricter with their rules on that, And the thing is, like, the reason why... Oh, yes! Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, okay. Then you want to switch off then here in a minute? In a minute here. Oh, thank you. After you eat yours. He made me burgers. Oh, it's so sweet. But listen to this. The reason why I like to talk about that is to help people. Because the thing was, I was always told, like, I was basically a freak. And that no one, like, my dad was like, who does this but you? And I'm like, actually, a lot of celebs. And he's like, I don't believe you, kind of thing. And so the more that people kind of deny the truth about it and don't talk about it, then, like, people feel like freaks who are doing it when really it's going on everywhere. You know what I mean? So that's why I always wanted to be open about it, but they say talking about it encourages it, but that was never my intention. I think actually talking about it kind of exposes the reality of that it's messed up. Like, the more I talk about it, the less I want to do it, if that makes sense, but the more I don't talk about it. Like, I know, like, whenever I've had a slip up, Richard wants to film me, and I'm like, no, and he's like, yeah, I need to film you because, like, you want to, like, hide, like, what you're doing, but when you have to be forced to, like, be like, this is what I'm doing, then it makes you want to stop. So it's actually, like, the filming of it was really helpful, because I didn't want to be filmed. Not that I, like, it's never that I'm like, no, it's more just like, and Richard's like, no, I think it's a good idea. I'm never forced to be filmed. It's not like that. But I usually am like, if you're doing something that's embarrassing, you don't necessarily want to be filmed. But then he's like, no, I think it's good to show this, because then every time that you're going to go do this, I'm going to film you, and then you're not going to want to do it as many times, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it is helpful. Like, I'm saying, it's like an accountability thing. So early on, we were filming me, and at first it just kind of became like, I just kind of kept slipping up. But then it was like, okay, how many times am I going to film you slipping up? Like, get in check here. And so it was a good accountability, because it was like, by filming it, we realized how many, like, slip-ups I had done, you know what I mean? This is the very beginning of the channel. And then even these last couple of things, with the alcohol and everything, like, it's just to kind of, like, I don't know, like, show that, like everybody struggles with things, you know what I mean? But I hope I'm never trying to encourage, like, alcoholics to drink or anything like that. It's more just, like, showing, like, what I'm struggling with and what my journey is.
You can eat whatever you want. It's already good.
Have you eaten yours?
Good. We'll come back later, so we'll do, like, maybe a dinner stream or something after the game.
Okay. Oh, you're not going to talk?
Probably not. I'll probably just have my lunch here.
Okay. We're just going to have lunch then. All right, guys. We will catch you later then. It's been a great day. We're going to eat lunch, and then we're going to watch the game pretty soon. Because the game starts at 1, so my hour and a half. And we're going to eat our lunch and then watch the game. So we'll come back maybe tonight. What is today? Saturday? Yeah, I don't know. You guys are doing fun things, like, are people celebrating, like, 4th of July weekend? Like, barbecues and stuff? I don't even know. We never do those things. But we eat basically barbecue food every day. Hamburgers. So I'm going to have my hamburgers, and I'll catch you guys later. And thank you I know there's a lot more positivity coming in, and I am feeling that. I can feel the energy of that, so I appreciate that. And let's go Mets. Let's beat the Yankees. This is a big game. If you guys are bored, go turn on Mets and Yankees at 1 p.m. This time, Pacific Standard Time.
In the meantime, we're just going to rock and roll. the movie with the hat and everything. You know what I'm saying? That little cowboy hat. Riding on a big old horse. Tagline or something, you know, like, yo, bro, y'all been tagged with the tagline. Yo, what's up? What's up? I don't know. What's my tagline? You're tagged. Well, I kind of had this on like an 80s sort of grooving thing going. Might be a little bit much, even for me. Hey man, thanks for joining the show. Thanks for watching. In the future, they're gonna say, "Hey man, this part of the show, this is the genius part of the show." Like after, like I'm long gone, and they're all analyzing what the hell happened in 2025. It caused all this disruption here in 2075. They'll be looking at all this footage. They'll be like, "Holy shit, man!" You know, the real essence of the show was at the end when the guy brought out the guitar, because that's really when the art happened. That's when the free flow thoughts kind of came together. It's when the stars aligned. It's when Christina Keffler showed up and joined the membership again. Come on, 1 month. Come on. 1 month. Come on, I'll write a song for you. This one's going with me. I'm thinking this one. Yeah, Trigger Man, hell yeah. Do a little dance. Make a little love. Get down tonight. Get down tonight. Do a little dance. Make a little love. Get down tonight. Get down tonight. Yeah. That'll be Trigger Man's song. He'll just be coming in with his like big old lightsaber, just like slicing everything off. It's like yo, but it'll be like kind of like a happy thing. It'll be like you won't know what he's doing. He's got like kind of like Zorro a little bit, like kind of like, yo, what's up, buddies? They'll be like, what? What's this guy doing? And all of a sudden, next thing you know, like, off with your head. Off with that dude's head. And he turns around and takes like a swig of like some wine or something and says, hey, ladies, y'all having fun yet? It's just a bloodbath with this song in the background. I mean, it's a happy song, and he's dancing. It's all choreographed, and he's just having a great time. But it is a bloodbath with this dude in the room. You don't want to hear that song if you're the bad guy. And that's just with his lightsaber. Wait till you find out why they call him the Jedi Trigger Man. Shit. It's like, dude, they're dead already. Make it sure, bro. All right, man. Listen. Okay, I'm gonna go have myself some breakfast. I'm getting too damn hungry. Getting too damn hungry for my shorts right now. Hope you all have a great day. And we will see you maybe for dinner time. Thanks for becoming members. Thanks, guys. 99 cents a month.
Turn me up a little bit. Yeah, turn up and talk loud. Little do you know, you're gonna hear this one. Sun's shining. Yo.
I don't hate players, I don't love the game. I'm a shot clock, way above the game.
Be point blank with you, the game.
I got all this work on me, I ain't come for play.
You can show the little shorties how you pump and bang.
The dog.
Not to death, I'm not impressed. I'm not amused, I'm not confused, I'm not to do. I'm a grown man business, I'm not in school. Put your hand down, youngin', this is not for you.
On my jail, my beats with the Kanye, yo.
Your name on the market, your name off the payroll. Style fresh,
Like I'm still a Dayo, and it's been like that since the Dayo.
On more time than a Rollie or Seiko.
Step on deck, your neck, or do what I say so. Get up or get out, get down or lay low.
standing in the shadows. Open Jedi, I am Black Jedi. That Jedi.
Let's move. Shout out to my man Khalid Kweli. We on top. Shout out, check it out.
Check it out. Slim Jedi.
Cast a big shadow.
Cherokee red to shoot the long arrow.
Got
More skill, more aim, and more ammo.
You can get it all from a big or small barrel like
Hail Mary, full of grace, Jedi.
Come and shoot up the place and make you pull up your face. The death.
I pull out the ace from the jungles of the Empire State where there ain't no escape. 247
718, and that's like every night, every day. From the place that I settle insane to the states, I'm collecting my pay.
Blast off and I'm back to the cave.
Hold it down for my family straight.
Represent in a family way.
Football, not for amateur play.
Billy Ross is an amateur stage. Before the press and the cameras raised.
Like a long-time man of the way, you understand me straight.
Yeah, no doubt.
Excellence. And that's what it is, you see.
Cause it's deeper, richer, crisper,